What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy hump day, happy Wednesday, happy basketball day. 11 games in the association on the FanDuel slate. DraftKings cut off the last 3, so distinctly different slates. I see in the chat they're talking about how, a lot of questionable tags out there. Yeah, a lot of questionable tags out there. A lot of things already been settled. Zion's out for a bit. The Kings and the Warriors, nobody seems to want to play that game. That is on FanDuel. We'll talk about that one momentarily. But if you missed it, Sabonis is out. Zach LaVine is out. Steph Curry was ruled out last night. This is the back half of a back-to-back for Golden State. There are 4 teams in the back half of a back-to-back. That's Golden State. New Orleans, shout out to the Pelicans to get their first win last night. OKC, the Thunder, they're still undefeated. They're also ruling, they ruled out 3 players about a half hour ago for tonight's back half of their back-to-back. And the 76ers, which of course means Joel Embiid's not playing basketball tonight. Some questionable stuff. Well, highly questionable. Jimmy Butler, he's currently questionable for Golden State, and he didn't even finish last night's game. He had that back flare up on him. It seemed like they were already laying the groundwork for him getting ruled out last night, with giving him a Q tag. We'll see. My guess is he does not play, but we'll see. Curry already ruled out there for Golden State. Draymond Green, another one of the teams highly questionable the back half of a back-to-back and travel. And then Pods, who projects to be one of the Podziemski, one of the better point per dollar plays on the FanDuel slate, is also questionable. DeMar DeRozan looks really, really good for Sacramento. He projects well. He's kind of the last one standing amongst LaVine and Sabonis. So again, those guys are out. We're expecting Russ to start, probably play pretty well. OKC just rolled out some guys. Dort and Chet Holmgren. I think there's somebody else I'm missing. It's a lot. Oh, Austin Reeves not playing basketball. So Luka, you got to pay for him, but man, he's going to get all the usage in the world against Wemby, who again, speaking of, you got to pay for it. You got to pay for Wemby, but he's got triple-double, quadruple-double potential. Sometimes he'll get it with blocks. You never really know. It's myself and Tim, Tasteful Tides. You guys for the next hour and 15-ish minutes or so, until we yield to crunch time. You got TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Notorious as well. You know him from many things, many hats. Core plays he wrote today for the NBA slate. Of course, Roth holding it down, taking you guys all up the lock. We don't have a lot of time for pleasantries, Tim. It's 11 games on FanDuel. It's 8 on DK. How are things? Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Dino. I'm on a little NHL projections tonight. We also got a small little NHL slate this evening. So, head on over to NHL Discord, hang out with us. It's a good time over there. But yeah, we definitely have a lot to talk about on the NBA streets. FanDuel slate, a lot of news left to talk about. So a lot of difference between the two sites tonight. A lot of news that we've already had regarding the FanDuel slate, and a lot of news to come regarding the FanDuel slate. So I'm looking forward to playing FanDuel. I like having all the slate news. I want the field to not want to stay up, to not, to make mistakes with their 2v2s or 3v3s and all those that late night swapping stuff. I like doing all that. So I'm looking forward to playing FanDuel tonight.
My Panthers took a shellacking last night. 7 goals for Bobrovsky. Speaking of hockey, yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but bad night for the Panthers. So I normally like that too, Tim, but I am doing the football show tonight, the Pick Six show, so I cannot multitask. So yeah, I can't play FanDuel for that reason. I'm like, I'm just not going to play FanDuel tonight because I'm not going to be on the show and all of a sudden start adjusting your basketball lineups. And this guy's ruled out and try to have a conversation with Rebar and Daigle. It's not going to work out. So, but yeah, the more news, the more moving parts, the better. The better it is for somebody paying attention, for somebody that's sharp. But if you were paying attention the other night, and you know what, I goofed. I was not on this. This is my bad, and it cost me. Beef stew. Isaiah Stewart drew the start for Detroit and absolutely annihilated. He just destroyed the slate because we thought, Tobias Harris was ruled out, and he started alongside Jalen Duren. And we're projecting that once again tonight. He projects really, really well. And that was my bad. I don't know if you got the Isaiah Stewart, but I did not. And that was bad. Bad job by me, unfortunately. and Harris already ruled out for tonight, so we're expecting the same situation. What else are we waiting for that's of note? It seems like Ant's going to play. That is an ESPN game as well. If you have YouTube TV, you're not going to be able to watch it, but otherwise, yeah, don't get me.
I thought you had an announcement to make about the whole YouTube TV situation. I got excited there.
No. I mean, it's a whole conversation, but ESPN is kind of incentivized not to make a deal with YouTube. But that's, they might. I hope they do, but they also have deals. They have their own companies that they want people to shift to. But I have Hulu as well, the Hulu package. So I think I didn't realize the whole time I have different ways to get the ESPN. Nobody cares. But first game of the ESPN doubleheader, Ant expected back, not officially back, but Shams was saying it's what was the adjective he used? Like very likely, highly likely, on track. Producer Steve is a New York Knicks fan, and he doesn't want to face the best of the best. He wants to face,
No, and I put the bet in this morning.
Oh, well, that's that's fair.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so I double up, and now I get the Knicks at plus money.
Yeah. Also, Karl Anthony Towns, he had the fish, so he's questionable too. He's not feeling particularly well. So again, something to keep an eye on. We have some if-thens set up, I think, for both those guys. You can't have them for everybody, obviously. But I was looking at the if-thens before the show, and we have the Golden State one set up. We have Cleveland, New York, if Cat's out. The interesting one is, like, there's no big that necessarily steps up projection-wise. But, other players, Brunson would get a boost. OG Anunoby would get a little bit of a boost as far as usage and things. And if Ant plays, which we think he's going to play, everybody else is kind of like, especially Julius Randle or Venge, whatever you want to call it. But his price is elevated to the point because he's been great in the absence of Ant. Now he looks kind of like Austin Reeves a couple weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was. Time is a flat circle. But Reeves was insane in the absence of Luka. His price was elevated. Now when Luka comes back, he's all of a sudden too expensive, and that's kind of where Julius Randle happens to be. Oh, we lost Walker Kessler for the season. That's a bummer for Utah. Yeah, that seems like well, I mean, look, Utah was going nowhere anyway. There was rumors of them possibly trying to, maybe trade him, but I guess not. Because I guess some days they like him, some days they don't. But Lakers were one of the targets, allegedly. I guess they're always, one of the targets. But, Walker Kessler done for the year. So we're anticipating Yusuf Nurkic to draw the start here for Utah. He had that walk-off buzzer beater against the Celtics last time out. We might get the debut of Darius Garland. Did I say Joel Embiid is sitting? There's so much. It's a lot. Is there anything else we should mention? Anything you want to say big picture-wise before we dive in and do a little game by game?
Big picture-wise, in terms of the FanDuel slate anyway, Golden State is very much a situation in flux. You might be waiting for that news for a while, so just be aware of that. We currently have Jimmy Butler questionable, but I'm assuming, I feel like he's going to be sitting, so I would definitely be leaving spots open, backloading your team on FanDuel tonight, because I feel like Butler's going to be sitting.
Are you just plugging in Kuminga? Like, is that you think he's one of the biggest benefactors?
Pajemski, right? I mean,
he's also questionable.
He's yeah, that's true. But I mean, Pajemski's already going to be, pretty good usage without Curry, and then imagine if if Butler sits as well. So Pajemski, but yeah, Kuminga definitely would slot right in there. And then of course we have Draymond questionable as well. So Golden State is a really big spot tonight, and I'm hoping that news comes out after lock for the FanDuel slate. I hope it doesn't come before lock. And then I think it will. Yeah, then it looks like Karl Anthony Towns is the big news on DK. I don't know if we've had any kind of update. I'm pretty sure he's still questionable.
It's just an illness. Who knows, right?
Right. But I mean, that would be Brunson would end up being a really, really amazing play, and Bridges and OG Anunoby as well. But I think Brunson would become like the clear, like core play from that group.
Chat, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. And it is not necessarily a Wheel Wednesday, but it could be. It could be a Wheel Wednesday if we get 75 likes by 5:30. And then producer Steve would put it in effect. You get there into the Discord channel, and you hit the avatar, and we'll spin that wheel, give away a week free of RG Premium. But it's not just assumed. We got to get those likes first. All right. A lot going on here. 11 games FanDuel, 8 games on DK. Lots of news still to be determined. But let's do it. Let's start with game 1. Philadelphia, Cleveland, 235.5. That is the total. Philadelphia back half of a back-to-back and travel. They are 10, 11-point dogs here as far as who's in, who's out for this one. Well, you mentioned before, Joel Embiid, he cannot play basketball back-to-back games. It's just not possible. Jared McCain just came back, and he's out already. This is a rest thing. He came back yesterday. Paul George, we've yet to see him this season. And Dominic Barlow, we haven't seen him since, game 1 or so. As far as Cleveland, Jared Allen, he's yet to play with this, is the finger, is his hand. I guess he's going to have a splint at some point. He might have a splint right now. I think it's just a pain tolerance thing. I don't know when or if he's going to start playing. I guess soon, supposedly. But he's been ruled out a couple times already with his hand. I'm pretty sure it's his offhand. It is his left hand. So, yeah, pretty good chance that's his offhand because math. I don't know if he shops at the left torium or not. Darius Garland, he is questionable. He's got that great toe. Maybe we see him make his season debut tonight. Not sure. DeAndre Hunter also, he had the fish. He's questionable. He's ill. Sam Merrill has got a hip. Max Strus, we've not seen him play basketball this season just yet. So, yeah, it's kind of messy. We talked about Tyrese Maxey last night. That dude just plays 40 minutes or close to it and just chucks every single game. It is the back half of back-to-back. It is travel, and they are dogs here in Cleveland. Historically, not the best matchup necessarily. How do you see Cavs, Philadelphia? I don't like this game, Tim. I think this might be a cross-out for me. I hope I don't regret it.
Yeah, definitely not getting to any Cleveland right now. They're all pretty priced pretty heavily. I don't think this is a really amazing spot with Garland back. Assuming Garland's back, that's gonna eat into Mitchell a little bit, and Mitchell is priced at 9 too. So I just don't think we can really get to any Cleveland here. Outside of maybe I think I'm always kind of a fan of Evan Mobley, especially if he's only going to be 5%, but I'm not getting to a ton of him. So none of them are primary plays for me. I mean, on the Philly side, Tyrese Maxey at 10K, can we actually click that? I keep saying no, and he keeps on putting up over 60 fantasy points. So he clearly can beat this price tag. Now, this is not a matchup that I necessarily want to play into. But I think that if I was building out a portfolio of teams here, and if I was making 10 teams, he might be in one of them. I would definitely put him in one of 20, something like that, because he does have 60 plus upside. But this is really not a game that I have much interest in.
That is basically where I'm at. That's where the field is at too. Let me give it a refresh, see if anything's changed as far as ownership stuff. But the way I just saw it, nobody in double digits on DK. Grimes is the closest one too, and yeah, I mean, no, I don't think so. Maxey 9% we're showing on DK, and then FanDuel it's got to be even less, I imagine, because there's more games going on. Maxey at 5 or 6%. And also there's something to be said for time players up early, especially on FanDuel.
Yeah, on FanDuel it's there. That's even worse of plays on FanDuel,
because some news can definitely fall, and then dramatically all of a sudden you're gonna be playing some catch up, and your spot's already claimed, and you want to roster some players that look spectacular, and there's just nothing you can do. Okay, other 7:00 game. There's 2 7:00 games. No, there's 3. The one in the middle that I have, at least according to the RotoGrinders lineups page. It's the Nets and the Pacers. Man, 2 teams that are not fun to talk about. 231 is the total, so it's a big boy total. Pacers are 7-point favorites here. Ray J. Dennis is probable. Quentin Jackson had that big game a couple games ago. He's done. He's out with his I shouldn't say he's done. He's not playing tonight. He's got a hamstring. Matherin's out. Timothy John McConnell's out. Nemhard's out. And Obi Toppin, we're not going to see him. As far as Brooklyn, Nothing really significantly new. Well, I guess the big thing is Michael Porter is off the injury report. He's back tonight. We're expecting Tyrese Martin, Cam Thomas, Terrence Mann, Michael Porter, Nick Claxton. One of the better plays on the slate projection-wise and just sort of matchup-wise, this Brooklyn team is the worst defense in basketball. Pascal Siakam. Does he have the ability to separate himself amongst the 9, 10K players? Can he put up like a 65 or so? Probably in cash. You're playing Pascal. Are you playing cash tonight?
I am on DraftKings. Yeah.
Is Pascal currently in the shell? Maybe.
He is. I don't think. I think you should be getting to at least one pacer in cash. There are a lot of optimals where just Jarris Walker is popping. But I could definitely see a scenario where you're playing Pascal Siakam. So I don't think he is like an absolute plug-in must-have cash game player, but I think you should be getting to either Siakam or Walker, or even possibly just both of them. But you're getting to at least one of those two.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Pascal is somebody you absolutely have to have in cash, but if you have that salary, I think he's one of the better big spends on the slates. Currently 20% right now on DK. We are showing Walker at 26%. Oh man, the interesting one to me, Tim, is Isaiah Jackson. And I've talked about this several times this year about how handsy he is. His fouls are just insane. They've gone down a little bit. Earlier in the season, he was averaging 10 fouls per 36, which is completely absurd. It's down somewhere around 7 or so, which is still, that's a lot. But he's cheap. The matchup against Brooklyn, they give up the second most points in the paint on the season. That's a great spot for Jackson. He saw his most minutes last game. I think he got to 29 last time out. Now, he's not somebody I like that's going to be popular. He's not the most popular cheap big. We'll talk about there's some more on the slates. Daniel Gafford's another one. There's a lot of cheap bigs. Nurkic is another one. Beef Stew is another one. So I don't think he's like first or second in that list. But he's one of those players I like to play more when he's going to be less owned, because there's a wide variance. Because there is a scenario where he gets 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes and he disappears for most of the first half. But there's also a scenario when that doesn't happen and he plays 28 minutes, and he's super cheap and the matchup's awesome. Do you have a take on Jackson here for the Pacers?
I think it's a fantastic play, because we know that he has a ceiling here, and if he can get his minutes somewhere in the mid-20s or even in the high 20s, he could easily go over 40 fantasy points here. So he is not going to be super chalky. I expect him to come in around 10 to 15%. I'm getting to 10% of him in Sims right now on the DraftKings slate. So I really do like Isaiah Jackson quite a bit here. I think that's a good call by you. The other pacer that I wanted to mention was Aaron Nesmith at 5,900. Just because he's going to be leverage off of Jarris Walker, right around the same price point, projected for 2 to 3 points less, but also going to be half the ownership. So I think Aaron Nesmith is a pretty interesting leverage play off of who's going to be a much chalkier Jarris Walker. Like in single entry, Jarris Walker is going to be probably 35-40%. And I don't think Nesmith's ownership is going to get higher in single entry. I think he'll still be around the 5 to 10% mark. So I do think Aaron Nesmith is a super interesting pivot or leverage play off of the Jarris Walker chalk. So I think he's someone interesting. Ray J. Dennis at 4,800. I think he's a GPP only. I'm not going to get to any of him in single entry or 3 max, but somebody that I am getting to around 8% in Sims right now. So I think he's somebody that we can consider as well, but definitely one of the fringier pieces of this very, very popular and good spot Pacers team.
We're not projecting Dennis to start, for what it's worth. Shepard, Naismith, Walker, Pascal, and Isaiah Jackson. I think we're giving him 24 minutes, which he can get there in 24 minutes, but I don't think he's going to be. You're talking tournaments with Dennis. Projects pretty decently. You know, his price is no longer $3K, obviously, but he's more of like a, for me, large field tournament target. Brooklyn, I guess there's 3 players you can argue, right? Claxton's another one of those cheap centers that, you know, you'd like them to play a few more minutes. We're projecting him for 28. Porter coming back from injury. 6'9" is his price. I don't know if that's like he's projected to score 35 fantasy points on DK as a median projection, which is fine. And then there's Cam Thomas, who's 7'1". I don't think I go beyond those 3 if I'm running somebody back, if I have a couple guys on the Pacers. How do you feel about the Nets? Is there anybody you like? If you got to pick one amongst those 3, Cam Thomas, Porter, or Claxton?
So one of the reasons why I maybe wasn't quite as enthused about Isaiah Jackson as you is because I really wanted to play Nick Claxton on the other side of my center spot, and maybe just stack up this game. You know, maybe go Nesmith, Pascal, Claxton on the other side. I really do like Nick Claxton a lot. I mean, he's gone for over 40 fantasy points this last 2 games. He went for 36 the game before that. He's still only 5.6K. Getting right around the field in Sims right now, so he's not simming outstanding, but I do think that he's a really, really strong GPP play, and I think that we're going to want to get exposure to one of these Brooklyn pieces because I think this game is going to be a really good game to target. So Claxton is my favorite Brooklyn play. Not really getting to much of any of the other Brooklyn pieces, getting to a little bit of Cam Thomas. You can always get to him just because he's such a good scorer, but not really getting to much MPJ, Man, or Martin.
So if you fire up the Court IQ tool, last 2 games, you're not going to believe it. Brooklyn got blown out the last couple games, right? But he played against Philadelphia. They lost by 24 to Philadelphia. They lost to Minnesota by almost 20. He played 16 minutes in the first half of both those games. And he lost some minutes at the end, as you can imagine, because of the blowout. You could talk yourself into saying, well, maybe if this game stays close, you know, if we're playing 4 quarters, maybe he plays 30 minutes. Maybe he plays 31 minutes. Maybe. I don't think that's a terrible thought process. So I think Claxton's my favorite amongst those 3. But this Brooklyn team is hard to trust, obviously. Anything else, or shall we scoot along?
Let's scoot.
All right. The last of the 7:00 games, Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons, 232. That is the total. Detroit is a 10-point favorite. Again, you missed it. Walker Kessler, done for the season. He's out for the year with a shoulder. Gorgie Niang is still out with his foot. Sheboy still in the G League. Tobias Harris is already been ruled out with his ankle. Sasser out, Ivy out. Nothing new there as far as Detroit. Same situation. We're anticipating Cade Cunningham to start alongside Duncan Robinson. Utah, by the way, is giving up the most made threes on the season. If you want to, Duncan Robinson, you definitely need like 4 or 5 threes to get there with Duncan Robinson, but this is a good Duncan Robinson spot. Asar Thompson, we're expecting Beef Stew to start at the 4, Isaiah Stewart, as well as Jalen Duren. Keontae George, Svi Mikhailiuk is the projected starter here for Utah, as well as Lauri Markkanen, Taylor Hendricks, and Yusuf Nurkic. Filipowski is another guy that might, I don't know about tonight or not, but he might be somebody in line for more minutes. I know he's played some 5, not well, but he's played the 5 last season in the absence of Kessler. Good fantasy player though when they let him play. Nurkic was good last game, right? They got a W. I don't know if they wanted that, but that's what they got. Danny Ainge against his old team there in Boston. A little bit more of a price hike on Nurkic. I think there's some meat in that bone. A lot of cheap centers tonight. A lot of cheap centers. There's 5 or 6 guys we keep talking about. Some cheap centers, in the mid tier and less. So it seems like a good cheap center night. And then there's Joker. We'll talk about him eventually as well. He's pretty good at the basketball. Utah, Detroit. What are we seeing?
Yeah, I figured Nurkic would be pretty popular. I didn't think he'd be this chalky. Currently around like 30 to 35% that I'm seeing, getting to 50% of it in Sims. So Sims really they do like Nurkic quite a bit here. I am not as sold. I'm a little bit kind of, I don't know, worried that I'm going against the projection and going against the Sim. 5,300. I mean, I just don't really like the spot. I think Detroit handles this game pretty easily here. So I'm just personally I think I'm going to be fading Nurkic, but I can definitely see the case to play him. I'm not getting to any Keontae George. He was the only other player that I had some interest in. I just don't really like the spot here tonight. So I'm a little bit lighter than Utah on the whole, but. You know, I guess maybe Lauri Markkanen's okay, but I don't know. I'm not really getting into Utah. I think this game's gonna be a blowout. I think Detroit handles this game pretty easily. I don't have any interest in Utah. On the other side, Isaiah Stewart getting to a ton. This is a chalky piece that I do like a ton of.
Good chalk.
I think Isaiah Stewart is good chalk tonight. He's definitely gonna be in my cash game team. He's going to be in my primary single entry team, 5,200, power forward center eligible. And, you know, he's going to be 21%. Even if that goes a little bit higher, that's fine. Like I would easily get overweight that. I might double or triple that in GPP. So Isaiah Stewart to me is it's like a core piece for me tonight. I think he really fills up the stat sheet here. This is a good spot for Asar Thompson for steals, but I mean, he's really just not really much of a scorer, and I don't think they're really going to need him tonight. So I might match the field with Asar, maybe come in a little bit under that 12% mark for him. It's going to be interesting to see what the field does with Cade Cunningham. Again, a really amazing spot, but he's really expensive. So I don't know if I necessarily want to spend 10-2 on Cade here. Getting a little bit, you know, right around level with him in Sims, like right around that 16% mark, but I don't know. I think I'd probably come in a little under that.
You're talking about not necessarily loving the Jazz, and I'm more likely to play one of these Jasmine, Markkanen, George, or Nurkic if I'm playing two Pistons. You know, that's sort of where I'm at. And you certainly can play two Pistons. You know, Beef Stew is the obvious one, like you said. Cade Cunningham, you got to pay for him, but he certainly could put like 60 on Utah. Wouldn't surprise us. 60's not even like his ceiling. And Duren is I don't think I'm getting the Duren just because, again, all the centers that are cheaper, distinctly cheaper, that also have double potential. I like him plenty. But if I'm playing two Pistons, I think there's a chance I'll run it back with one of those Jasmine. I can't imagine anybody's beyond unless we get some kind of a surprise starter. But, you know, George has been good. Markkanen's been good. And Nurkic, you know, coming off a really good game there against Boston. Tougher matchup here. You know, botting up with Jalen Duren, who's just one of the stronger dudes in the league. But, you know, if he's going to be out there for 27, 28 minutes or so. We saw they dusted off Kevin Love last game. I don't know if you saw that, so shout out to him. But I don't know how many minutes he's actually capable of playing.
He played 16, 14, 16.
Yeah.
It's more than I thought he would.
Yeah. I mean, you know. All right. Anything else here as far as Utah and Detroit?
Would you only be playing Nurkic on the Utah side?
No. If I'm playing two Pistons, I'm okay running it back with if George fits, if Markkanen fits, or if Nurkic fits. But yeah. And I'm not saying you can't just play two Pistons, you know, and play zero Jasmine. But, you know, it's like a tiebreaker. The other thing, again, it's 7:00. You know, any tiebreaker, as a general rule for me, is any tiebreaker, just take the later player. If you literally are 50-50, you can't figure it out, and there's no correlation, nothing like that, just, you know, backload it, and something might come up later. But, yeah, I'm okay with any of those three, George, Markkanen, or Nurkic. 7:30, the Wizards and the Celtics, 232.5. It's a total. Boston is a 12-point favorite. Who's in and who's out for this one? Well, Chris Middleton's still out for Washington. That's it. And Boston is as healthy as they're going to be, right? Jason Tatum, he ain't walking through that door. Well, he is, but he's not wearing a uniform. I think he's just kind of hanging out, working out with the team. Matchup here against Washington is quite good. If you look at the defense versus archetype matchup tool, pretty much everybody on Boston looks good. Boston, strangely, I thought this was going to be a team that plays faster. I thought this was going to be a team that like try to just shoot a bunch of threes in transition. We're only 8 games in or whatever it is. Really surprised how slow they're playing. They're the slowest team in the league this season, according to NBA.com stats, pace-wise, and Washington's the second fastest. So this is a massive pace boom for Boston tonight. Pritchard, White, Brown all look pretty awesome. We've talked about the bigs, the rotation for Boston, how fragile it is. Minot lost his rotation. Well, I think he got kicked out of the second half to, was it Sam Hauser who drew the start in the second half? I just don't like messing with this Boston big stuff if I can avoid it. And I think it's a night where you definitely can avoid it. If you're going to play one, I guess you could play Keita. If you want to play Keita, sure. But for me, I'm just concentrating on Pritchard, White, Brown. I don't know which one's my favorite. I guess Brown is by the salary. And again, I'm willing to play 2. And then Sarr's been very good this season. I think Sarr's somebody you can kind of run back. If you want to run somebody back, if you want to force that run back. Maybe George, but that's it for Washington for me. How do you feel about Boston? Can you power rank the top 3? Pritchard, White, and Brown. We're still waiting for White to make some shots. It's just been terrible.
Yeah, it's been so bad. And he's been very, very popular, and he just can't get over that 40 fantasy point mark. And he's really kind of been busting as chalk, and I have to wonder how many times people keep going back to him. It's going to be interesting to see that. Like, he is going to be popular. I think we have him around 20% right now. Getting a little bit over that in Sims. I do think he's a good play. Eventually he's going to smash that price tag, and this is definitely a spot where he can do it. It's kind of similar stuff for Peyton Pritchard. Again, not really necessarily busting, but he's not getting you anywhere where you need to win a GPP. So, Peyton Pritchard, again, and Peyton Pritchard also has point guard, shooting guard eligibility. So, he is a good play. My favorite's Jaylen Brown at 8,400. I think he's going to be lower owned than Pritchard and White. And he's just seen, a really, really good usage rate this season, obviously with no Jason Tatum. So, 8,400 in the spot, I feel like is too cheap. And I think he's going to be the lower owned of the 3. Not by a ton, but I think enough. And I think there's enough value that you can pay that 8,400. So your only risk really, I think, is this game not staying close.
Yeah, Brown's got the 4th highest usage on the season. It's salary reasons. Like, of course, everybody wants to play Brown if they can play Brown, but salary is pinching you a little bit, so that's why you're stepping down to White. You're stepping down to Pritchard. And I see Derek in chat says, I refuse to roster White until he shows a ceiling. Look, do you think he's going to continue shooting 31% for the season and shooting 26% from 3? Like, did he just forget how to shoot? At some point, that has to correct itself, right? And last game, you said he busted, and he kind of did, and that's despite having 5 stocks. He's not going to get 5 stocks every game. Like, he was kind of bailing you out when he wasn't scoring, giving you 3 steals and 2 blocks and put up a 35 DK points, which is fine. But the shooting, 3 for 9, 2 for 11 the previous game. I just have to believe he's going to shoot himself out of this soon enough. But,
And Jaylen Brown on FanDuel is only 8,500. So yeah. I think that's a really great price over on that site. It's just, that site is just so much different because we did just get Jimmy Butler ruled out. So
yeah, that was obvious.
Like a whole bunch of other values coming in. Not to say that I'll remove Jaylen Brown, but it's a whole different lineup construction over there. But that is a really great price for him. Currently, we're getting to Pritchard and White in FanDuel Optimals. But I think that I think Jaylen Brown is the superior play.
So they gave us the Butler update, but they did not give us a Draymond update, right? And they did not give us.
Yeah, I only saw a Jimmy Butler update. That's all that I've seen.
Come on, man! Like, Steve, what are we doing? Steve Kerr. Yeah. So Draymond's got that rib. He's questionable, and Podziemski has got a wrist. So he's questionable too. I think there's a decent chance Pods plays, but that's just me guessing. I think he's much more likely to play than Draymond, if nothing else. But the other thing we got Cleveland's. Jared Allen going to play. He's got that finger, but he's going to play with his finger, and we're going to see the season debut of Darius Garland. Sam Merrill also available. Just more reason for me to not play Cleveland. Like everybody's in. I'm not running 150. I'm not running 100. If I was, I would probably get some pieces of Spider, things like that. But that's just a full-on punt game for me. Johnny Furphy for Indiana. Man, everybody's hurt for them always. He's got an ankle. There's no timetable for his return. And Quentin Jackson, that hamstring, I guess, is pretty bad because there's no timetable for his return as well. Also, Cody Martin, we didn't mention it, but Cody Martin is available to make his debut for the Pacers. I don't know if he's in the pool or not. I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's not. Cody Martin, that is. Yeah. But he's just a body that Indiana will probably he's better than McClung. He'll get some run tonight, I imagine. I don't know if we're projecting minutes for him or not, but okay. Did you give a thought as far as the Wizards?
Not really. It's not a team that I'm getting a ton of. Really, any player. Kaishan George at 6,800 would probably be my favorite. I thought Alexander Sarr at 67. He's been really strong so far this year. He's got over 40-point fantasy upside. I doubt that I'm going to be wasting a center spot here. I'd have to be building out, I think, into the close to probably 50 before I got to any Sarr.
This next game, Tim, I think it's a cross out for me. Again, I only make so many lineups. Minnesota, New York, 226.5 is the total. New York is a 4-point favorite here. We're expecting Ant to come back tonight. Officially, he's questionable, but Shams is reporting that he's well on target for a return here on ESPN. ESPN will be thrilled for sure. DiVincenzo is still good to go with that face mask. Terrence Shannon also questionable. Doesn't really matter. He's got that foot. The only player on New York who's got anything, it's Cat, and he is questionable with his illness. Karl-Anthony Towns, that is. We did have an if-then set up, and it's just a little bit weird if Cat sits out. It doesn't move. Nobody really steps up. Just incremental bumps for the guys that are already, interesting. OG, Brunson, Bridges, those three. I guess we're giving a minute. Is there still a minute restriction on Mitrov? I guess that would make sense because I see it stopping at 20 unless otherwise noted. Mitrov coming back from that pretty severe injury. He did play 20 a couple of games ago. But even on the slate tonight, I'd have to know he can get it well above 20 at 4 or 5 just because we keep talking about all the cheap centers.
Yeah. It's not a night to be playing with a kind of fringy cheap center, I don't think. So there's
Correct.
no reason to be rostering Mitrov tonight. I am a little bit I figured Brunson would get a bigger bump with no Cat. I was kind of debating, do I want to be saving a spot, for this whole situation here in case we don't get that news before lock, because I kind of think I am going to be saving a spot for Brunson if Cat is ruled out. I do like Mikal Bridges if Cat is ruled out, and the same thing with OG. Now I wouldn't necessarily core either of those two guys, but I think Brunson would be a primary target for me and somebody that I would be trying to get overweight on, especially if projection systems aren't going to love him necessarily with Cat out. So that's a situation that I would try to get overweight with.
I don't know Cat's going to play, but I would guess that doesn't he tend to just play? He tends to just play. I know it's an illness. You never really know. And this was reported super early in the morning. Maybe he just missed shoot around possibly. I don't know the situation. I'm kind of leaning he plays. We'll see. And New York does a terrible job reporting. Maybe there's more reporters in the building with ESPN. You might actually get somebody to get an answer out of them, out of somebody in New York. But they're so bad at letting these things. They wait to the gun. They wait till 30 minutes, before the game, plenty of times. But I guess you can wait, right? Because there's not a lot of 7 o'clock stuff necessarily, because we sort of talked about Philly and Cleveland not being terribly.
Producer Steve with a little message in YouTube chat. Inside scoop is that Cat posted an Instagram today, which means he's playing.
Is that Cat's version of let him know?
Let him know. Let him know.
Yeah. What did he say? Did he actually say I'm playing, or it's like if he puts anything on Instagram on game day, that means he's going to play?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe producer Steve could come on air and see what's up here.
It's just what I was told, but I'm going to do some research right now for everyone.
You got a guy? You got a guy on the inside?
Yeah.
He's got Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Let me go find out.
Dean and I don't get on the gram. So,
no.
Yeah.
It's not targeted for us. All right. Moving along from Minnesota and New York. Houston and Memphis, 232.5 is the total. Memphis is an 8-point home dog here. Who's in? Who's out for this one? Steven Adams is questionable. Revenge game, Steven Adams? He played for Memphis, right? You had a cup of coffee there, a couple seasons? I believe so. DFS is still out for Houston. Jabari Smith is questionable as well. Yeah, so if we happen to lose Smith and Adams, we'll see Tari Eason step in and look like a really, really strong play. I mean, Capella would get some extra run. I don't know if you want to play Clint Capella in the year 2025, and again, I'll repeat, another slate where there's just a lot of cheap centers, and I would have to I need both those guys out probably to get to Capella. I think I need Jabari and Adams, and Capella would actually probably project pretty well, but Eason would be the guy I would really want. Memphis, Zach Edey's still not back. Ty Jerome's still out. Brandon Clark's still out. Scottie Pippen Jr., he's still out. Things are not great in Memphis. It's not spectacular. I don't want to pick on Houston, one of the best defensive teams in the league. If you want to bet on Ja, having I don't know. It's just not for me. Triple J's not been good. This Memphis team just seems in shambles. I'm playing nobody in the Grizzlies. Can you tell?
Yeah, I mean, I on DK, I completely understand that. I think on FanDuel, Memphis is somewhat interesting just because Jaws is 7,900, and I think that is a price tag that he could really smash in. Now, this is not necessarily a good spot, and I'm not saying that you need to be playing Ja Morant, but I would be getting exposure to Ja on FanDuel, at least in GPPs, at least some exposure, just because he's so cheap over there. We did have a question in chat about Jabari Smith, is Jabari a good play if he plays? Can you just go overweight him and swap to Eason? Yeah, I think the answer is yes and yes. I think Jabari Smith is a good play. And I think Eason would be probably likely an even better play if Jabari were to sit. I mean, that's 32 projected minutes that need to go somewhere. Eason is a really strong producer. So I think that if you want to play that strategy, that's completely fine. And if you get stuck with Jabari, that's not a disaster. So, and he's projecting for 3% right now. So it's not like Jabari's going to be popular at all. So you could end up being overweight on a pretty good play. So I like that strategy quite a bit. Alperen Sengun, I think, is always somebody that we can get exposure to in tournaments. He hasn't really, he hasn't crushed, necessarily his price tag in a few games, but he hasn't necessarily hurt you either. He does have triple double upside for 9,400. Again, a play that's going to be 5% or under. So I think Sengun at 9,400 on DK is completely is a really strong GPP play.
We got Sengun on DK at 4% currently. Now that would change a little bit probably if Adams doesn't go, if Smith doesn't go. Did you mention Amen? I think Amen's really well positioned too at 16%.
Yeah, that's a good call, Dean. I did not mention him, but I completely agree with you. Yeah, Amen at 7,700. Projected for 35 minutes here, fantasy points projection of around 40. I don't think he's going to be super popular here. So I think this is a really good spot for him. Definitely somebody that I think has a pretty safe floor as well. So I think he's a strong play, getting to around 12% of Amon in Sims right now. So I do like that play quite a bit.
Durant just seems like to not have the best ceiling for somebody that's 8'5". A good floor, probably not going to hurt you, but also very unlikely to double-double. I don't know if he's somebody who's going to smash his price. So I'm not playing him. We haven't seen like a awesome game this year necessarily from a fantasy perspective. He put up a 51 against Detroit, so that would be useful this year, but nothing lower than a 36. But mostly it's like 30s to 40s. That's what it's been so far, and I don't think I'm playing Durant unless that price gets adjusted. Let's see. Greg's talking about Josh Hart. Yeah, Hart's a guy, and that's cap dependent. We didn't mention Josh Hart, I don't think. If you did, I didn't hear you. My bad.
I did not mention him.
Okay, I didn't think you did. But he would be a guy that theoretically would benefit if we happen to lose Cat. I don't know how many minutes they would play him, but I guess he would get pushed up. What is his price?
5,500. 5.5.
Yeah, he played 29 minutes earlier in the year, 26. I also think he's going to play, Cat that is, so I'm not terribly concerned. We did not get enough likes, it appears, to spin the wheel. That's kind of a bummer. We needed 75 to spin that wheel to give away a free week of RG Premium, but I guess we'll try again tomorrow.
No, I'm the best, so I'm still doing it.
Oh, look at you, Steve.
Wow.
Get those likes on the Discord post quick.
Yeah, get that Discord channel.
10 minutes before we spin it.
Yeah, don't make Steve's life any more difficult. Get in the Discord channel. Just hit the avatar. We'll throw your name on the wheel. You got a week of RG Premium, and that's not just basketball. It's not just any tool. It's all the tools: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, UFC. The SimLabs that Tim keeps referencing. All the articles, the core plays, the expert rankings, defense versus archetype matchup tool, Court IQ, all the goods. Optimizer. Yeah. By the way, Moses Moody is projected to be one of the better plays on FanDuel right now. I did a re-rack. He's 3.9 over there with ruling out Jimmy Butler. His minutes look pretty solidified. I believe he's the one that started the second half for Butler last night. We're projecting him for 30 minutes, and he's 3.9. It's small forward. So we talked about, and there's still more stuff that might fall. We might lose Draymond. We might lose Pods. They're both currently questionable. But, Moody projected for 30 minutes, looking pretty well. Kuminga looking pretty strong. Even Buddy Hield. Oh, it's a revenge game for Buddy Hield. That's what they're doing. They're opening up the revenge game for good old Buddy Hyde. All right. Anything else? Houston, Memphis? Scoot along?
Let's scoop.
There are 2 more games on the DraftKings main slate. We'll touch on the FanDuel stuff as well. Whatever we don't knock out on FanDuel, of course, crunch time coming in about 20-25 minutes or so. You got Notorious, as well as TJ Zwarych, and then Roth. Roth is holding that down, taking you guys all the way up to lock. Any more news sprinkling in here, Tim? You got any news?
No, I don't. Cat's a game time decision according to Coach Brown.
That is 100 out of 100 times they say this. New York is no team does the game time decision more than New York. Oh my, that is the safest bet in injury predictions. You want an update? Never. We'll never give you an update because right now Minnesota is scrambling in the locker room trying to figure out how do you defend. I don't know. Huck Porty. Whatever. Wasting their time. Okay. Let's talk about the Pels and the Mavs. 227.5. That's the total. New Orleans on the road, back half of a back-to-back. Not well positioned. They get their first W last night, so good for them. But dogs tonight. No Zion for the foreseeable future. Yves Missi, he had the fish. He had the fish last night. He had it tonight as well because he's not available to play. We saw Jordan Poole start last night's game. He's also questionable with a knee soreness. I'm assuming he sits. Why else would they just throw that tag up there? I don't know that for sure, though. Dallas, of course, Anthony Davis is out. Kyrie's out. Lively's out. and Dante Exum, who I don't think we've seen all season long, is also out. Tim, this New Orleans Pelicans rotation, man, tough scene for our projection team. It's just really, really hard to figure out. I know Jeremiah Fears was looking great last night, and sometimes it's like, well, he just turned 19. Maybe we're asking too much from the kid that just turned 19. So like he had a bad game and he didn't close. And Jose Alvarado, it was just like the ultimate, bench spark plug type. He caught fire, and he hit the game-winning 3 as well. Like, good for him. We saw Derek Queen was awesome in the fourth quarter. Carlo Makovich got some run in lieu of Looney. Looney was terrible. I'm guessing they'll still give him an opportunity tonight. He'll probably start, but there is going to be potentially a quick hook. It's hard to figure out the final 5 for the Pelicans. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Murphy is a constant. Herb Jones is a constant. But besides that, I don't know. It's just kind of fluid. Who's playing well? It could be Sadiq Bey. It could be Grand Theft Alvarado. Fears can certainly bounce back and play a good game tonight. Poole may or may not play.
Who do you think hops in that starting 5 if Poole's out? Alvarado? Because he would be a really amazing value.
I think it'll be Bey. My guess would be
Bey go into the starting lineup.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah. So just Trey Murphy plays the traditional 2.
That's my guess. Yeah, my guess is that it will be Fears, Bey, Murphy, Jones, and Looney. But again, we saw Makovich play some run. We saw Derek Queen get some run, and they really need Derek Queen to be good. This team, they gave up a lot to get him. Again, it's super early. They don't need to be good. They don't need to be good now, but they need to be promising. If nothing else, it's tough figuring out this rotation. But they're all so cheap. A couple players aside, that I think somebody's going to get home for New Orleans, especially if we lose Poole. I don't know. Like, we're projecting 21 minutes for Alvarado. And again, a lot of Alvarado stuff is just like, is he grooving out there? Because like if he's playing well and he's a pest, like you just hate playing against him. He's super, super annoying if you're the other team. But you love him, he's on your team. But he's also like an energy guy that feeds off the crowd, and they're on the road. And you've heard bench players play better at home. That's like that old adage, and I don't know how true that is or not, but I bet you he plays better at home historically, Alvarado, if you look at his splits. Just a guess. I don't know that for sure. Making it up. I say all this to say I don't really know who to play in New Orleans, but we're projecting Queen pretty well. Murphy should have all the usage if this game stays close here against Dallas. He's going to be the guy in absence of Zion, and the price is still pretty fair. But I don't know what to do with this game. This is like my least favorite game to try to figure out, because I can come up with like 6 different scenarios and not feel confident about any of them for New Orleans. How you handle this?
Yeah, this game is super, super important. I do agree with you, though. The Pelicans are really tough to figure out, but I'm getting to a ton of them in Sims. Getting to a ton of the other side of this game in Sims. So I mean, this game is super, super important. Definitely. I got a lot of things wrong yesterday, but the one thing that I did get right, which got me over the cash line, was Derek Queen, who was
nice
really, really low owns, and he got me over the cash line late, and I ended up being profitable yesterday. Other than that, my team was not very good. But this game right here, is everybody's really, really cheap. I think a lot of these players are too cheap. They're coming in with ownership, and of course we have this whole Jordan Poole wrinkle into this. So this is a game that I would definitely be getting some exposure to. At least getting to 1 or 2 of these Pellies in a 3-max set in each one of your 3 teams. Definitely getting exposure to in single entry. I'd be building heavily into this game in all formats, just because I think this is a really good spot for fantasy value. This should be. I mean, I say that it's an 8-point spread, but I think this game might actually stay pretty close. So getting to a lot of Dallas on the other side as well. So it's definitely it's a really, really strong game. Watch out for that Poole news. If he's out, I really do like Jose Alvarado quite a bit. Sadiq Bey would be a really strong play as well. But those two plays are already projecting well, so you could get exposure to them anyway, and you'd likely be okay. I wonder how many people are going to go back to Fears tonight after he pretty much busted as like absolutely mega chalk. So I think even Fears is pretty interesting play in tournaments tonight at 5K, just because I don't think a lot of people are going to go there. People are going to be playing, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones. They'd be more likely to go back to Kevon Looney because he's 3-2, but I don't think many people are going to go back to Fears tonight.
I don't know if people are playing a Looney. I feel like the Looney thing is not happening tonight. I could be wrong. Just because there's so many other cheap centers, which on the other side of this game is Gafford. And, he had a fake minutes tag, whatever. He exceeded his minutes tag. They said 20 minutes, right? Was this minutes limitation. He played 17, and he jumped up to 25 last game against Houston. They needed his size against Houston, obviously, and they don't have a heck of a lot of size. And if you watch that game, I did watch that game. That dude is always going to the locker room. He's always falling all over himself. But he's a good fantasy point minute player, and he's probably going to play at least 20 minutes tonight. And if he played 25 last game, I think we're projecting at 23, 24 this evening. Pulling it up.
You might be right. You might be right about Looney Dean, just because if you add up Nurkic and Gafford's projected ownership, it's 59% between those two. So only so much left to go around, and we haven't even talked about Jokic yet. So
yeah.
Only so many centers necessarily to go around. If he's not going to be popular, I think Looney's an okay play as well. They might need Looney's size.
We're giving 24 to Gafford. I mean, the thing is, like, if Gafford only plays 24 minutes, you don't necessarily need a true center after that, as far as guarding Dallas. I mean, I guess Dwight Powell's kind of an undersized 5. They can play PJ Washington at the 5. So this game could go small pretty easily. And they also have Queen. They also have Makovich. They have DeAndre Jordan if they want to use that. I don't think they will necessarily, but he's there. And also Looney's like not very good. Like I know he's cheap, but he's so limited. He's just there to get, gobble up some boards, put back stunks, that kind of thing. But they're not running anything for him, obviously. Fears is interesting because I think there's a scenario, where he can start, and if this game blows out, he still can close.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Veteran in the back half of back-to-back. Are they going to let Jose Alvarado close the game out? They're down like 20, 25. They probably just roll Fears back out there, give the kid some run, I'm guessing. Or they can go neither. They call up Bryce McGowan's, like somebody like that, different position. I'm just kind of thinking of the body part. Jordan Hawkins, I guess, can mop, but he's not one of those guys. But I could see Fears being one of those guys that could start, game goes full on ugly, and still finish. Give him some run. I mentioned Gafford. He's projecting pretty well. Again, 24 minutes or so. Washington, man, 3K PJ Washington. Those are those days, right? Pepperidge Farm.
That was opening night, right? Or one of the opening. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people were like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's 7K now on DK. And he's still like a fine play at 7K. Yeah.
Producer Steve with a hot take. Pelicans win outright with no AD for the Mavs.
Huh. I mean, has he seen the Pelicans?
I don't mind that take. I don't mind it.
Real. I mean, it's travel. They were definitely feeling themselves last night. They got themselves.
The thing is, though, is like they don't want to win. That's the only.
Well, no. They lost their draft pick. They
did. That's right. They did.
Queen cost them the number 1 pick in the draft this year, possibly.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't mind Steve's take.
I like the Pelicans more at home because they have the greatest, scariest mascot in all of basketball, in all of sports, possibly. Is it King Baby? Is that the name of it? King Baby? You know what I'm talking about? I think it's called King Baby. Maybe producer Steve can throw it up on the screen. King Cake Baby. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tim? King Cake Baby?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Steve's got you.
King Cake. That is terrifying.
That's their mascot. They also have like a giant pelican. They have 2 phenomenal mascots. But yeah, this guy prances around Pelicans games. Besides Gafford, anything else on Dallas that's worth talking about?
Well, I mean, I think getting to PJ Washington here, I think is a pretty strong play. I'm getting more of PJ Washington than I think anyone else on the entire slate in Sims right now. So PJ Washington, I'm getting to 56% PJ Washington in Sims right now. So
that's DK to be clear. Just to be clear, that's DK.
Yes, to be clear, all the Sims talk tonight has just been DK. I did not do Sims on FanDuel just because there's so much news, and even more news came during the show. So just DK, PJ Washington, 56%. D'Angelo Russell, 38%, Gafford, 37%. So, I mean, this team right now, both these teams, Cooper Flagg, we didn't even talk about Cooper Flagg. I think this might be the spot where he might actually be, might actually really pay off his price tag and, crush a slate. So I do like Cooper Flagg quite a bit here. So both sides of this game, I would be wanting to build heavily around.
Joshua in chat says, does the mascot not travel with the team to away games? We don't. That's a college football thing or a college sport thing, but you don't see that in professional sports. You probably should though, right? Why not? Every once in a while they have they're celebrating the mascot's birthday, and they have 15 different mascots around the league who show up. I'm assuming it's like stand-ins. These are the things I watch when you get to watch the in-game stuff, the in-arena stuff when you're watching on League Pass. By the way, Ant officially in. Will not have a minutes limit according to Coach Finch. So, all right. There's talk of hockey in the chat. We got to spin the wheel. We got to give away a week free of RG Premium. Let's go ahead and bring in producer Steve. Let's fire up that wheel. Let's do it.
Wow, I wasn't prepared. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. Mr. Irrelevant.
Is that the last person in?
No, that's his name in YouTube chat. He's always here every day.
Oh, I thought you were making a the last person to jump in the Discord. Shout out to Blink 182 Rude, getting a week free of RG Premium. Producer Steve will slide in your DM, or he'll ask if you want scores and odds. He'll ask what your RG premium is. What's up?
Gonna spin one more.
Oh, look at you, feeling generous.
We broke 100 the last minute.
Oh, great!
Reward the people.
Last two names. Sorry, doing it live. You know the joke. F it. We'll do it live. All right, everyone's on there now. $129. All right, congratulations, guys. I'll shoot you a message in Discord.
We tend to do this on most Wednesdays, giving away a week free of RG Premium. Crunch time coming about 10 minutes or so. Last game on the DK slate, Tim. It is my Miami Heat in Mile High, taking on Denver. 241 is the total. Denver is a 9-point favorite. Who's in and who's out for this one? Well, Tyler Hero, of course, still out. Jovic available and good to go. Norman Powell available, good to go with that groin. He played 28 minutes last game. Of course, Terror Azier is not with the team. We're not talking about that. Denver, probable. Jamal Murray's got that calf. He just seems to get that tag every single game. He's played through it, I think, every game. Has he missed one? I think he's played through it every single game. And, Tim, another thing you hear me saying, you know what? This Miami Heat team, this is not your dad's Miami Heat. This is not your friend of 2 years ago's Miami Heat. They are flying. They are scooting. They are faster than any team in basketball as far as pace. So, that is of note. 241 total. How do we I was going to mention Jaime Jaquez has been awesome this season. Yeah, we're projecting Pelly Larson to continue to start alongside Davion Mitchell, Norm Powell, Wiggins, Adebayo. Nothing really sneaky on the Denver side. Pretty predictable rotation for the most part. The key pieces, at least. How much are we prioritizing Joker is the big question here, because we keep talking about it. 4, 5, 6 different centers at a pretty reasonable price, 4 or 5K on DK specifically. You can roster 2, sure. FanDuel only 1. How much do you want to prioritize Joker? Because he's always awesome, right? Like, he can smash most any game. Is he currently somebody is he a want or a need?
It's a really tough question tonight. Like, it's a really tough decision. Miami's playing at the fastest pace in all of basketball, which I was pretty surprised that they'd still be that at this point in the season.
Don't be.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're doing. Yeah, it's what they're doing. So, yeah, it's really, really tough. We did just get Jordan Poole out. So, I mean, that is going to open up a little bit of value, making it probably a little bit easier to get to Jokic. I think it also depends on your contest type tonight. Because obviously Jokic could smash a 12K price tag. Like, that's not really the issue. It's more of, do you want to go a little bit more balanced tonight and not go so stars and scrubs? It's a pretty tough decision. I do play cash games on DK, and I will be playing Jokic, at least in cash. I probably am going to be playing him on my primary single entry team, but we've talked about some really strong center plays already, and I do like some of the more balanced builds that I'm seeing, both in Sims and in lineup HQ. So I think it's a pretty interesting decision. Right now, I'm leaning on playing him, but I don't think he's like an absolutely like you absolutely have to play him type play tonight.
And then on FanDuel, I think it's even tougher to play him because you only have one center option, and there's more games, and you have Luka available at a different position with the absence of Austin Reeves. You can also, of course, if you want to spend up on Wemby, you can always do that. He's going to cost you, but certainly he's got the ability to put up like 90 against, DeAndre Ayton. He's going to abuse DeAndre Ayton. We'll talk about that game momentarily.
I would say really quick on FanDuel, Dean. We do have more value, a lot more value over on FanDuel. So it's, in a way, I think it's easier to play him on FanDuel just because we've got that Golden State stuff. We haven't even talked about Sacramento. We do have some pretty nice value pieces over there.
Yeah. I was just thinking about, there's a lot of good center pieces too, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, that is true. That is valid, but there is also some really cheap value too.
So again, crunch time's going to go position by position on FanDuel. There's 3 games. It's Oklahoma, Portland, Golden State, and Sacramento. But I guess I can just sort of kind of touch on this and sort of set it up as far as the injuries, because there's a lot to monitor, a lot to be aware of. Golden State and Sacramento. Okay, so for Golden State, they're in the back half of back-to-back. They ruled out Steph already. Steph Curry's not playing basketball tonight. That's certainly meaningful. Jimmy Butler officially ruled out as well with his back. Still possibly waiting to be ruled out is Draymond Green. I think there's a decent chance of that happening. And Brandon Podziemski is currently questionable as well. So 2 more pieces possibly waiting to fall. Sacramento, no Zach LaVine, no Keegan Murray, no Domantas Sabonis. It looks like DeMar DeRozan. You tell me, he's got to be in your. Are you playing cash on FanDuel? Because
I'm not playing cash on FanDuel. I'm just playing single entry stuff. But if you are playing cash, DeMar DeRozan is definitely like a core piece in my opinion.
Yeah, he's one of the first guys, and Russ projects really well as well. San Antonio and the Lakers. We did lose Austin Reeves. San Antonio, as far as their injuries, nothing really new. I guess Sohan's questionable. Luke Cornett's out. Fox we haven't seen all season long. LeBron obviously not playing for the Lakers tonight. Gabe Vincent, we haven't seen him in a bit for the Lakers. And the other one, OKC, back half of back-to-back at Portland. They're without some key pieces also. No Lou Dort, no Chet Holmgren, no Alex Caruso, no good Jalen Williams. I still don't know if one player rises you got to play so-and-so. But there's at least some plays there. But amongst these 3 games, is there anything that's really standing out for you? DeRozan, the Warriors, 2 big spends in that San Antonio Laker game. How do you want to handle talking about these 3 games? Because again, we don't have time to knock out all 3 individually. We can talk about it as a collective, though. What's most important to you in these 3 games?
Yeah, definitely cash game stuff. It's a lot of Golden State, Pajemski at 5,400, Moses Moody at 3,900. Now, Malik Monk for the Kings, he's not a cash game option, but I really like him for GPPs. He is 5'1" on FanDuel, projected for around 28 minutes. I think he could really smash that price tag. So I do like Malik Monk quite a bit for GPP. It's going to be, I think the decision is really between Luka and Jokic in terms of the really, really high spend ups. Obviously you can play Wemby at 12-7, but I prefer Luka. So I would rank those 3. I'd probably still go Jokic 1, Luka 2, and then Wemby 3 of those 3 big spend ups on FanDuel. So still like Jokic over there, but all those other 2 are really strong GPP plays. But really get your value from that Golden State side. There's plenty of it, and I think it's all pretty good chalk.
So we did just get an update with Poole being out for New Orleans. I know Crunch Time's knocking the door. They'll be here in a second, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Our Alvarado projection got a nice bump to 28 minutes.
Yeah, I like him a ton.
I just think there's a little bit concern if this game, back half of back-to-back, travel, veteran. If this game gets ugly, I don't think he closes. He certainly can close. It's not a guarantee he closes, even if they're playing well. But he's so cheap. He's 3-3 on DK, man. Yeah. And Fears is the other guy. Fears projects well. His minutes look more solidified. He was relegated to the bench, playing terrible last night. They have less options this evening. But I'm okay going back to the kid. We're giving him 31 minutes. Sadiq Bey, 28 minutes. Curious to see what that starting lineup looks like. I think we are projecting Bey in there. Looks like Fears, Murphy, Jones, Bey, Looney, with Alvarado coming off the bench at 28 minutes. Okay. I want to know that starting lineup for New Orleans. But anything else that we want to talk about? Anything else we want to stress before we yield to crunch time? You want to give me your slate breaker? Who's breaking the slate, Tim?
Nick Claxton. I really like him. He's a good leverage play, I think, off of some of these chalkier centers right around that same price point. So I really like Nick Claxton tonight.
All right, let's do it. Let's seamlessly transition. We got crunch time coming in right now. TJ, Noto, Roth. Noto, how long does it take you to write 11 games today, 11 games on Friday, 1 tomorrow? Not necessarily, delegated the best for you, but you write the core plays article. What is that? 3, 4, 5 hours? How long does that take you? 6 hours?
Yeah, it depends on the games. Usually about 3 or 4 on these full slates. But man, the NBA grind down used to take a good 8 hours a day. So I'm happy to write the core plays these days.
You left out the PGA that he's writing too, right?
PGA.
Noto's first look on PGA, yeah.
NFL, all the goods.
Yeah.
Do we have bets up on SAO for golf this week? Is there golf this week? I didn't know.
There is golf. I don't have my bets up yet in SAO, but they're in my article, so I'll get those up on SAO soon.
Okay. Is there any more? Is it like just a bunch of nonsense players, or good guys are still playing?
For the most part, it's mediocre guys. We got 3 more tournaments this year, and then it really kicks off at the start of next year.
Ralph, how are things? Everything well?
Yeah, man. Things are good. It is the Worldwide Technology Championship.
Sure.
And doing my weather article, I spent more time typing Worldwide Technology Championship than actually forecasting, because it's in like Cabo San Lucas. The weather's perfect. And every time I had to type that, I was so annoyed.
I was going to guess Saskatoon. It's not Saskatoon. Maybe next year.
No, yeah. I think it's a little late in the season for Saskatoon. I bet our boy TJ's not exactly golfing weather there, I would think, though I could be wrong.
Courses haven't closed yet.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably pretty freaking cold, but all right.
I mean, for you guys, yeah. For us, it's pretty good for November. Like, I'm feeling pretty happy about. Let me switch it over into
American
Fahrenheit for you uncultured over there. We're looking at basically 40 degrees every day this week. It's golfable.
That's not bad.
Yeah. By Saturday, the high is 25 and the low is 7. Just to be clear, it's coming, TJ.
What are we at in Utah, Nuno?
It's been nice. Make sure I'm not on mute. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been like 60 today, so
That's perfect.
loving it over here.
All right, myself and Tim, we're going to step aside and get out of here. You got 42 minutes, 8 games on DK, 11 on FanDuel. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, do not go anywhere because Roth is taking you home for tonight's NBA slates.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the deal. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the industry, and we're going to take you up through FanDuel because it's different than DK. Then we're going to talk about DK. Then we're going to answer all your questions. Then we might talk about dinner plans. You never know. When you get to the end of the show, you never know what's going to happen. We open it up to all conversation. It is a big slate, so I don't think we've got all that much time to dilly-dally. So I will just say hello to my wonderful co-hosts, Noto. His actual name, believe it or not, is Derek Farnsworth, but you know him as Noto. What up, Noto?
Yeah, what's going on? I already had Chick-fil-A for lunch, so can't top that for dinner. But yeah, what's up, boys?
What's the order at Chick-fil-A?
I just go spicy chicken deluxe sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, no pickles though.
Hell yeah, my guy. I'm afraid of pickles. I tell people I'm allergic to them just because I hate them so much, and I don't want them. I want them to take it serious when I say no pickles. I get 2 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. I take the chicken off one of the chicken sandwiches and I put it on the other and make a double-decker chicken sandwich. If you're ever hungry, I recommend it.
That is like 170% of your daily value of sodium.
Well,
That's bad.
it's 170% delicious, so I'm okay with it. We got TJ Zwarych in the house as well. What up, TJ?
Not too much. Ready to dive into the slate with you guys? No, I did.
You saved
on time. It just didn't work. It just
You
it had
saved
a little
it,
error
yeah.
on it.
You saved the mute count.
But yeah, ready to dive into the slate. We got a fun one with lots of injury news. That was not a mute.
He
Get
says
out of here.
0.5. It's a half mute. I like the call.
Down with that.
Yeah.
Lots of New Orleans tonight. Fun slate on DraftKings, running 150 lineups over there.
Woo.
Been playing, like, running pretty well lately for NBA. So looking forward to diving in.
Yeah. Okay. Mari Donezi says that was definitely a mute. I think the 0.5. I think the 0.5.
For it to be a mute, you have to start talking.
Yeah, and nothing comes out. You just
Yeah,
paused.
but I didn't talk. I was sitting there trying to click the button, and the button wasn't working.
Yeah, I got your back on this. Someone says, was Roth also a fan of the KFC Double Down? Was that the one where the bread was the chicken sandwiches?
The bread was the chicken, then it was bacon and cheese in the middle.
No, I still need the bread. I don't want to just like paw the chicken. That's awkward. All right, let's dive into the content. We got to talk FanDuel. TJ, I'm going to let you have first crack at things. Let's just dive into it. Point guard, FanDuel. We'll work our way through. What do you like?
Yeah, I do think that's honestly probably the play because there are still injuries we're waiting on, specifically in this last game on for Golden State today. We already have Steph Curry ruled out there. Brandon Podziemski is still questionable at this point guard position. So that's kind of the primary topic.
Wow.
Because Podziemski, if he plays, is a really good play. And then if he doesn't, there's all kinds of value opening up on Golden State. I'll honestly let Noto talk about that side, like that specifically, just since he wrote the article and I'm not playing on FanDuel. But Derek White looks fine for his price tag. Peyton Pritchard looks fine for his price tag. But these are two guys that haven't put up massive ceilings so far this season. And so considering they're currently coming in as the 2 highest owned point guards on FanDuel, those are probably guys that I'd be looking to get away from in tournaments today. And especially considering that game. Oh, no, I thought that was a game right at 7, but it's not until 7:30. Still, it's pretty early. We probably aren't going to know about that Golden State news yet. Even in like a cash setting, I don't know how much you want to lock up those roster spots. I kind of feel like you just might be able to do better. I do really like D'Angelo Russell at 5,600 today. I think he's a strong play. Stephon Castle, don't mind here. Cade Cunningham is a spend up I like. And then I think John Morant at only 7,900 in tournaments is a really, really great play today. He got suspended for a game, got called out by the coaches. He had some shitty comments. Then he apologized. And after he apologized, he came in and he played a season high of minutes at 34. Maybe he sees that bump to 35, 36 today. And a $7,900 John Morant potentially getting a minutes bump, that's just way too cheap. So I do really like him for tournaments as well.
Yeah, and a motivated one at that after he was kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. There's some talk on Twitter. Is John Morant, is he a top 70 player? I think someone said he's not a top 70 player in the NBA, which seems aggressive. But anyways, Noto.
You're doing a redraft today. Who are you picking, Zion Williamson or John Morant?
Yikes. Okay, I mean, I guess Ja, but yikes.
Really?
I mean, is Zion ever going to play? Is he ever going to play?
I mean, he's damn good when he does.
I know. It's a shame.
He always gives you hope. And with Morant, that's not really the case. You know, you're just waiting for something bad to happen.
When we had skinny Zion, I was like, this is his year. It's going to happen. But no, now we're hurt again. Noto, point guard on FanDuel. TJ mentioned a lot, but also really hammering in on the Golden State injury question. So if you could fill in a bit there.
Yeah, so I do like the idea of leaving some spots open. I think you just put Pods into like your shell lineup and then adjust if he ends up being out. If he does end up being out, man, they're going to be without probably three of their best offensive players other than Kuminga. So probably going to see a lot of Pat Spencer. As Chop likes to say, Buddy Hyde could be interesting there. He would soak up a bunch of usage. Moses Moody, Gary Payton would probably see upticks in minutes as well. And then Kuminga was just going to dominate usage tonight, but we'll get to him in a little bit. So yeah, I do like Pods, kind of just on FanDuel locking him in and then adjusting if you need to. Alvarado looks like the best value play at the position right now. We don't have him projected to start at the moment, but still 28 minutes for him.
I forgot Alvarado. My bad. I'm playing 100% of him on DraftKings. So yeah, Alvarado.
Yeah, great play. Played really well last night, and they're just without everyone tonight. Decent match against Dallas. So he's probably your lock play at point guard, but I like Pods too. I'm going to be underweight on the Boston guys. I don't have a ton of interest in Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. They just haven't shown much of a ceiling this season. I know the matchup against Washington's good, but we also have some blowout potential there. I never want to trust Washington to stay competitive in games. Large field stuff. I like the Sacramento guys, Dennis Schroeder, Russell Westbrook. I think both of them are interesting with the injuries that they're dealing with. And then I'm going to keep going back to Cooper Flagg. I think it's a great spot for him. No Anthony Davis. He's had at least 35 in 4 of his last 6, so he's starting to be a little bit better. Just haven't seen that ceiling game, but I think it could come tonight against the Pelicans. And then TJ mentioned Cade Cunningham, one of my favorite spends as well. There's just not enough point guard spots over on FanDuel.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to shooting guard. What do we got there?
Yeah, a lot of similar names. I do like Jaylen Brown, my favorite Celtics guy by far. But again, I do worry about a blowout a little bit there. I like Pods. So maybe you play Pods at shooting guard and then kind of go from there if you like the point guards a little bit better. Trey Murphy, now that all the Pelicans injuries have opened up a ton of usage there. I think he's a great play against Dallas. You play Schroeder here. We have Clifford from Sacramento at 3,800 projected for 25 minutes. If you need a salary saver, don't mind going to him. We got Max Christie projected for over 30 minutes. Very cheap. Again, Cooper Flagg's here. So a lot of the same names. And I would try to get as many point guards into that shooting guard spot as you can. Okay.
TJ, your thought at shooting guard?
That's exactly it. Shooting guard is such a weak position this year on both FanDuel, more so DraftKings, but on both of the sites, that if you have somebody with point guard eligibility and shooting guard eligibility, just always play them at shooting guard until that swaps maybe later in the year. But that's a really good point. Happy he brought that up. VJ Edgecombe is another guy I'd want to mention. He is like $1,000 cheaper on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. And there's no Joel Embiid tonight for Philadelphia. Don't mind some Dennis Schroeder, but I guess there's not that much I want to add from Noto here. But the biggest thing would that be just re-emphasize how much I agree that Jaylen Brown is by far the best Celtic option today. And I would just really want to be getting to him over White and Pritchard if I'm trying to get access to that game. I think you can fade it, but if I am trying to get access to that game, he's the guy that I would want to be going with because he's been the guy for Boston so far this year. Like White's, Pritchard, they've been doing their regular things, but Brown has been the one with the ball in his hands all the time. Brown's been the one with the usage rate. So definitely him if I am picking one of the Celtics today.
Okay, small forward.
One thing, last actually shooting guard, I did still want to mention because I forgot about him at point guard too, but that's Amen Thompson. I believe and correct me if I'm wrong, Noto, I was just doing another show before this, but I believe we're still waiting on some Houston news with Steven Adams, Jabari Smith still listed as questionable. Yep. If those guys are out, like you'd think that wouldn't affect Amen Thompson that much because he's a point guard, but that I think would drastically impact his rebound rate. That's a guy that gets very involved on the glass, and when Steven Adams and Şengün are both and Jabari Smith all on the court, there's not really any rebounds to go around. So if we get one of Smith or Adams out, I think that actually is a significant bump for Amen Thompson as well.
Yeah, I feel like Amen Thompson every game is like a rebound or a assist shy of a triple-double. And yeah, if you can give him a few more boards, maybe he'll get it done. Tyson starting over Merrill, according to Derek in the chat.
Probably not getting to either of those guys today personally. Small forward position, some of the same names. Jaylen Brown is a guy that I really like today. Kevin Durant is nice and cheap. And then Denny Avdia, I think, is a good pivot off of both of them. But if you want to go even cheaper, I love some Lauri Markkanen and Trey Murphy today. Those are probably my two favorites. Actually, I forgot DeMar DeRozan is on FanDuel, and he is probably the first player you're putting into a cash game today. But like him and Moses Moody, you just filled this spot up. But in tournaments, let me tell you, I love Trey Murphy and Lauri Markkanen. These guys are my two favorites by a pretty significant margin for large field tournaments. I think they could both outscore DeMar today. I'm a big fan of both of those guys. PJ Washington looks good. But this is another one of those situations where it's like, if somebody has shooting guard and small forward eligibility, small forward is better. Play them at shooting guard.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, your thoughts at small forward?
I'm trying hard to listen to what TJ's saying when you're talking about Beaver Moons and Hunter's Moons. Please just explain what's going on here.
I can't. It's really dumb. I don't even want to get. It's the lamest thing ever. I don't even want to get into it. Just to save everyone time.
Not a Beaver Moon.
No, not officially the Beaver Moon this month, but don't worry about it. No. Let's get to small forward. How about that?
All right, yeah, DeMar DeRozan, no Sabonis. Who else is out? No Levine. So yeah, I like him quite a bit at 6,800, just underpriced for his role right now. And I think Moses Moody makes the most sense as a value play. Jaylen Brown again, I like him as shooting guard a little bit more than small forward. TJ mentioned Trey Murphy, one of my favorite tournament plays over on Draft or FanDuel as well. A little bit cheaper on DraftKings. That's pretty much it for me. I mean, we could see some Sadiq Bey in the starting lineup tonight, coming off of one of his better games, 24 fantasy points last night. He can get hot from the 3-point line. So I'm looking at him. And then PJ Washington's kind of just the safe guy from Dallas. If you don't want to play Cooper Flagg, you can kind of just plug him in and he'll get you 35 plus.
Yeah. Okay. I have played Cooper Flagg every single time he's been available to play, and it has gone well for me 0 times so far this year. Probably going to do it again tonight. Noto, power forward.
So Cooper Flagg is your Cam Thomas for me. Can't get that guy right. And I'm glad he's not really playable on this slate because it's been bad. So yeah, power forward again. You got DeRozan there. Love Pascal Siakam. Indy's just missing a ton of guys. They got a good matchup at home against Brooklyn. He's averaging nearly 50 fantasy points per game so far this season. Usage rate close to 30%. Isaiah Stewart coming off of a 59 fantasy point outing against Memphis. He's probably going to start again power forward, so don't mind that against Utah. Now that Walker Kessler's out, that's a much better front court matchup. Jarace Walker has been playing pretty well. He's got 6x upside in this spot against Brooklyn. And then I like Sadiq Bey as a value play that's probably going to get overlooked a little bit. And then Jonathan Kuminga. I didn't mention him in a small forward, but yeah, I think the offense is going to flow through somebody, and it's probably going to be Kuminga. I think he could put up a huge game here at low ownership.
Yeah. Okay. TJ, your thoughts at the power forward spot, please.
All right. Sorry, just 1 second. Power forward position. I'm just gonna like FanDuel, Wemby until he's over 4K on FanDuel, Wemby. Because I'm just gonna 14.
Yeah, okay.
He's over 14K on FanDuel and over 13K on DraftKings. I'm just gonna play him aggressively as much as I can because he's so much better than everybody else at fantasy basketball. I don't know that he's way better than everybody else yet. At real basketball, kind of looks like he is, but at fantasy basketball, he's on another tier.
Yeah,
like
the 3 points for blocks and steals on FanDuel is nice for Wemby too.
I have a season long draft like home league that I'm in, and it's an auction. It's not like you don't have to worry about what pick you're in. It's an auction. Everybody gets $200 fake dollars to build their team, and I just kind of made it a decision before. I think the most anyone had ever paid for a player in the our 10-year league was like $90 before this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just made it a rule that like I don't care. It's going to be way more fun to have Wemby on my team than to not have Wemby on my team. I'm not going to have a limit. I'm going to play him even if it's $100, even if I have to use my entire budget and get $1 a player. And so I am going to be loading up on, and I've spent like 120 on him, and I'm first place so far in the year. So he's going to be one of those guys that in season long drafts, they're going to have they used to have a Gretzky rule in hockey where if you were in a hockey draft, you just weren't allowed to pick Wayne Gretzky because he would double everybody else's points.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Whoever got the first pick
would just win.
Won.
Yeah.
And so they made it so that you have to change it. They're going to have to do that with Wemby. Like he won't be draftable in season-long leagues because he's going to be so by far the best. We did just get Steven Adams out, Jabari Smith in. I think that makes Jabari Smith a really great play here at the power forward position. Mm-hmm. Only $5,500. He's been playing some really great basketball this year. So give that bump to Amen Thompson that I talked about with no Steven Adams. I think you bump up Şengün as well. But Jabari Smith here at the power forward position, I think makes for a really strong play as well. If you're not spending up for Wemby, there is Siakam, I think, is probably the best spend up option here. I like Jarris Walker, Isaiah Stewart in the mid tier as well, but then I'll just really hammer home Jonathan Kuminga looks really great tonight, and Lauri Markkanen is one of my favorite tournament plays.
Okay, very good. Let's go to the center spot, TJ.
You can play Wemby here as well. If you're choosing between Wemby and Jokic, I'm a Wemby guy all day long, and so that's personally where I'd be going. But I love Alperen Şengün tonight, and I like him even more now that Steven Adams isn't in. He's really been playing some great basketball this year. I think he is an awesome, awesome play. Karl Anthony Towns, a guy that put up like 70-plus fantasy points the last time he played Minnesota, just worth throwing that out. But for the most part, there's a lot of guys here that you can play at power forward or center that we've touched on, like an Isaiah Stewart or a Jarris Walker. I think if you need to go cheap, my favorite option is Daniel Gafford at 5K. But I probably want to spend up here personally.
Yeah. Okay. Did they lie to us about Gafford's minutes last time out? Because I feel like I was planning on playing him and they said there was a hard minutes cap. And then he played like 25 minutes or something. Either way, he is playable tonight.
I thought it was at 20. He'll be limited to 20 to 24 minutes, and he played 24 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'm misremembering that, but fine. They screwed me out of playing the guy I wanted to with that. He played 8 more minutes than projected, than I think the coach said, I think. Jerks. Anyways, Noto, what do you got at center?
Yeah, like Wemby, like Jokic, if you're spending up, don't mind the Gafford call. I think I would rather find the 600 to get up to Nurkic now that Walker Kessler's out. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that's, he's had 30-plus in 3 of his last 6 with Kessler in the lineup. So, he probably has a little bit of a higher minute floor than Gafford. But yeah, don't mind Stewart, Duran against the Jazz. It's a really good matchup for them at home. Isaiah Jackson's coming off of a big game. Love the Şengün call. There are just so many options tonight. 11 games is almost too overwhelming for a guy that builds one lineup each slate.
Yeah. Okay. We get to kick it over to DraftKings. It is a different slate, so it is worth a little bit of an extra deep dive. Before we do that, though, you want the Combo Pro. You want the best deal in the industry right here. It's with RotoGrinders. Get more bang for your buck for a limited time. Get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. That's only $5 more than if you're just getting the NFL package. And now you're getting NBA, college football, PGA, MMA, LOLs, C2G, whatever the hell all the video game ones are. We do some of those too. We got you covered. Whatever sport or esport you're interested in, get the combo package. We can make it happen. Also, 3-day deal. We should pop that one up while we're at it. If you don't want to make a commitment for a whole month or a whole season, you just get a 3-day pass. Build lineups through the weekend for $9.99. That is absurdly cheap. I went to Subway the other day and spent $16 just on the sandwich alone. And now we're telling you can get 3 days of NFL DFS content for $9.99. You gotta sign in for that. I did double meat, double cheese for what it's worth, which is why it ended up $16.
No $5 footlongs anymore?
No, dude, those days are long gone. They're $15.
You can barely get a $5 6-inch anymore. Like, you have to get a deal at Subway to get a $5 6-inch.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I haven't been forever.
Crazy. Well, you're making the right choice because if you're ever at a Subway, you're never like, oh yeah.
It was never good to start with, and it's worse.
Yeah, it's never been good. It's gotten worse. It's more expensive. There's nothing good about Subway. Nothing at all. Let's start with TJ because DHD said, hey, did TJ say 100% Grand Theft Alvarado on DK? And you did, right?
Sure did.
Okay. Well, talk to me about point guard.
100% Grand Theft Alvarado. I'm playing him in every lineup today. I like MTF. Say we're not currently MTF. Sorry, I was just podcasting with somebody by that name earlier. Like Noto said earlier, he's not projected to start, but he's only 3,300. So who cares? Like, this is a lock button play on every lineup kind of guy for me. Outside of Alvarado, guys I'm getting to the most, his teammate Jeremiah Fears, 30%. I like Amen Thompson a lot today. I'm getting to about 20% of him. Cade Cunningham I like quite a bit. I'm still playing a little John Morant over here, but the guy that I want to keep an eye on is, just in case Karl Anthony Towns gets ruled out, is Jalen Brunson, because would get a ton of usage if that would be the case.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, your thoughts at point on DraftKings.
Yeah, real quick on the combo sub. You also get, you mentioned LOL. CSGO is like one of my favorite things to sweat. It's great sweat.
You're in on those streets. You're in on the esports streets.
Dude, I haven't played in a little bit, but yeah, once COVID hit, I had to play something, and I loved that so much. I also loved sweating tennis. We have tennis in the projections every day too.
Do you get to watch? Like, were you watching the CSGO, or were you just watching your app, and you're climbing the rankings?
So I was watching like their scoreboard on my phone, so it says like the play-by-play of who killed who gets the assists, all that stuff. Yes.
We were so desperate, man. Those are desperate times.
I got to get back into that. It was I had my own model for it. It was great.
Okay, now's the time. I love that you have the CSGO model. All right, point guard. What do you got, Noto?
Yeah, lock in Alvarado. I think you can lock Fears too. Both of them should play a bunch of minutes against Dallas, and they kind of a hedge against each other too. If one of them goes off and takes minutes from the other, you're kind of not screwed by choosing the wrong one if you play them both. Love Cade Cunningham. Again, I'm going to be underweight on the Boston guys, so I'm not playing Pritchard or Derek White. And then I like Flag for tournaments. A lot of the same names we said on FanDuel. Nobody that's really standing out more on DraftKings other than Amen Thompson, who 7,700 is a good price point there.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to shooting guard, Noto.
Yeah, love Trey Murphy, 6.9 price tag. That's nice. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm just going to play him, not worry about the rest. Don't love Donovan Mitchell with Darius Garland making his season debut. I'm not a D'Angelo Russell guy. I know he projects well, has a decent ceiling. Not a Cam Thomas guy, as I've made very clear on this show the last 3 weeks. So, yeah, I'm pretty much just playing Trey Murphy, maybe a little bit of Max Christie.
Yeah. Dean pointing out, by the way, Alvarado's projection was lowered for what it's worth. So, TJ, I don't know if that impacts your 150. No.
It'd have to be lowered by 10 points.
Yeah, you looked at me like that was the dumbest thing you've ever been asked. You're like, no.
No, and honestly, that wasn't aimed at you. That was aimed at Dean, because Dean has historically had like a weird hate on for Jose Alvarado, and I will not stand for it. We love Jose Alvarado in this house.
We do. We love the defensive effort at the very least, and we love anybody who's 3-3 in these DFS streets. TJ, shooting guard, what do you got?
Shooting guard position today, like we talked about on FanDuel, same case here. It's way weaker. So if you have a guy that's eligible shooting guard and small forward, point guard and shooting guard, play him at shooting guard because it's a much, much weaker position. I'm rolling out Trey Murphy in half my lineups. I got him in 50% today. Outside of that, it's fairly spread out. I like Keontae George a lot for the Jazz. I like D'Angelo Russell quite a bit for the Mavs. And then Keyshawn George is a nice little own play I'm getting to quite a bit as well here at the shooting guard position. He's just been playing some really good basketball so far for Washington. I'm also just playing some full-on punts because the position sucks. So like Ben Shepherd, Bruce Brown, Jordan Clarkson, guys that are coming off the bench aren't going to do much, but they're just super cheap. So I'm saying, screw it. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. Okay. Small forward.
Does Noto have to do shooting guard still?
I thought he did. No, he did. I think he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did it.
My bad.
Yeah.
Small forward. Jarris Walker is the guy that I'm getting to the most here, but it's a pretty even split between Jarris Walker, Lauri Markkanen, Sadiq Bey, Jaylen Brown. Those are the four guys that I'm getting to the most. Walker. Oh, wow. I'm only getting 7% PJ Washington. How'd that happen? I want him to get to more than that. Well, I probably should do another run here. There we go. Bumping up my PJ Washington. He is a guy that I wanted as well, but this is like a fairly spread out position where nobody aggressively stands out. I do think Jarris Walker is the quote unquote best play, but you're going to get Kevin Durant in the 8Ks at basically no ownership. Asar Thompson looks good today. Aaron Nesmith is fine. Kelly Oubre looks pretty decent. And so I think like Jarris Walker, Sadiq Bey, they're cheap and good salary saving options. The two you're most likely to get to today, but a lot of guys at this position with really low ownership. I do think it's one of the best places to get different. Yeah.
I was looking at Jaylen Brown. He's got the 3 tags and the little blurb, the write-ups from all of our experts made me think he's coming in at 60% ownership, but it's 20%. Noto, are you on board with some Jaylen Brown at that ownership?
Yeah, he's got one of my tags right now. My favorite play at the position. Also like Walker and Sadiq Bey. I think, they're the good chalk here. And then, but TJ mentioned getting different at small forward. I think Max Christie's interesting. A guy that just shoots a bunch of threes. So when he's making the threes, he's got 30, 35 fantasy point upside. We have him at 10% ownership right now. Terry Eason, now that Steven Adams is out, I think that opens up a few more minutes for him. But yeah, for the most part, I like Sadiq Bey, Walker, and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to power forward. Noto, you can lead us off there.
Yeah, I love Siakam on both sides tonight. Probably my favorite spend up option. Just not getting enough room for the Jokic's, at least on the DraftKings slate. So I'll play some Siakam. You can play Walker here and Sadiq Bey here as well. And then, I don't know, is Isaiah Stewart really going to put up 50 again? I feel like I might be underweight on him on DraftKings because there's so many good plays at the position. My favorite cheap guy, Derek Queen, spells his first name wrong, but a guy that can put up a bunch of points, in little minutes, and New Orleans is so shorthanded tonight.
Yeah. Okay. TJ, your thoughts at the 4?
Yeah, a lot of the same names from the small forward position. Jarris Walker is playable here as well. I like Isaiah Stewart's totally fine. Sadiq Bey playable here. I too am getting to a lot of Derek Queen. Was really high on him yesterday. I don't know if you remember, Roth, but we were talking about Derek Queen. I ended up with like 30+% of him, and he went off. So I had a good day yesterday. Just about took down the mini max. Not quite though, but still a very profitable day. Played a ton of Alvarado yesterday too. Pascal Siakam, top spend up option, like Noto mentioned. And then Jabari Smith is the rocket that I'm looking to play here as opposed to Atari Eason, but like basically the same names that Noto mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the center spot. You can spend up, but I don't know if we've got the money for it. TJ, what are you doing at center?
I think with all this New Orleans stuff, we do have the money. So like I just hit optimize after hitting the lock button on Alvarado on like to throw out a cash game lineup. Mm-hmm. And all the variations that it's giving me all have Nikola Jokic in it. Mm-hmm. And so I do think that it's very viable to get all the way up to Jokic today. He looks really good as a spend up. I'm going to be playing a decent amount of him. Outside of Şengün and Jokic, who are my big spend ups, I'm basically spending down at the position in all the other lineups. So Nurkic, Queen, Gafford, Isaiah Jackson, and then in a couple lineups, I threw in a Carlo Makovic just in case it's him and not Queen.
Okay, very good. Olu in the chat just asked, what about Matkovic? So you got a little sprinkle, a little taste, a little nibble. By the way, we did get news. Cat is in. I think someone had mentioned if Cat was out, you wanted some Brunson, but Cat is in. And Noto, is he a viable play?
Yeah, you got the revenge narrative. TJ mentioned he put up 72 the last time he played the Wolves, the only time he's played the Wolves. So you got that going for you if you want.
It was your article. That's where I pulled that from.
Nice. Love that. Yeah, I mean, if you can spend up on Jokic, I won't say anything bad about him. He's had 62 and 70 in his last 2 games against Bam. So even though Bam's a good defender, not worried about that. But I like Gafford and Nurkic. I'm probably just taking those 2 mid-range guys that are chalk that should outperform their salaries. Şengün in tournaments, Queen if you're saving.
Any interest in Sarr? I've been kind of watching him play. He looks good, and he's getting a few more minutes. Nick in the chat says, if Washington can keep it close, you can write him in for 50 plus. I don't know about that, but he has been producing, Noto.
Yeah, I like it, especially if you're playing some Boston guys and you want that game to stay close. Put Sarr in there. So yeah, I kind of like pairing him up with Jaylen Brown in tournaments.
Okay, very good. Guys, we still have we kind of raced through this. We still have 10 minutes left for questions, and we do have a decent amount of them flowing in. So if you have any questions, it can be about basketball. It can be about the golf tournament, the World Wide Web technological, whatever the hell it's called. This week. Noto's got you covered there as well. And TJ is going to plug the Pick 6. Did I read that right? I don't even know what that means.
Pick 6 show. Best. Some people in the industry are saying that it's the best football show of the week here every Wednesday night, at least for a first look. From a first look standpoint, we will be live an hour after this show has concluded, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Dean Shavelson, Rich Rebar, John Daigle, taking you through all the positions, their 3 favorite games of the week. And then to conclude every show, myself and Rob Coakley pop in. We do a little movie review.
Oh, nice. Okay. Seems like I have heard great things.
That we're reviewing is House of Dynamite, the new Netflix movie.
I'm one of those people that say it's the best show. It's great.
There you go. I was going to say, I've heard a lot of really good things about the show. I don't really follow football enough to watch it, but maybe I'll do it just for you.
Don't follow football.
I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. I'm not like I'm not out there. I'm not grinding lineups on Wednesday. I'll tell you that. That's let's see. J3 would like to point out Dean is the best host. We are all in agreement. There's no doubt. Dean is the OG.
J3 will come on our golf show asking for Dean. Just love it.
It's
gotta be a burner. Gotta be.
He'll come on a show where Dean just left and be like, "Where's Dean?" Like, well, you just saw him sign off. He just said goodbye. Okay, let's get to some of the QQs. By the way, if you're watching this, keep in mind this is free, and all that we're asking is that you hit that thumbs up for us. There you go. Tasteful Tides. The Pick 6 is a must for any NFL DFS purposes. Noto, can you play Murphy, Fears, and Alvarado together?
For sure. Well, anytime you get a team that's got 5 of their best guys out, or however many are out for them, you can play them. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. TJ, your thoughts on Jordan Hawkins? Anyone?
No.
Just a straight no from there. Jumping into the Discord real quick. Jay Sam says, Noto, I actually love this question. Do you think it's negative correlation to play Amen and Şengün together? It's a FanDuel question, but I often find myself trying to pick one or the other. Can you play them both, or is it bad?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I've always played one or the other. We used to have a cool table where you could look at individual player correlations. I don't know whatever happened to that. It's probably too intensive to update every day. But I mean, in that scenario, you would need high scoring game. So you probably want somebody on the other side too.
Yeah.
Okay. Noto, I have a question for you. The optimizer is telling me to play 5 Pelicans and GK Cast. Do you think that's too many?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean,
just don't
some of them are so
Jones.
cheap.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm not playing Jones tonight. I mean, he can get you 20, but his role doesn't really change much, even though all these guys are out.
Yeah,
that's how I feel too.
Yeah. Noto, right back to you here. Sorry. FanDuel GPP, Ayton or Claxton? Noto, who do you prefer?
I'm not sure. I think Tim or somebody on the show before said that they like Claxton, so I guess I'll go with him. I'm not playing either of them, though.
Okay. DKGPP, TJ from RC Player. Is Ron Holland viable at 4K? Also, what is the minutes projection on Queen?
No, I don't think Ron Holland is viable, and the minutes projection on Queen is 22.
Okay. Douglas says TJ Pods and Kuminga or Fears and DeRozan.
Pods and Kuminga, assuming Pods plays.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't, you swap it out for an even cheaper dude, and you're still in a pretty good spot. Let's see, Noto, your thoughts on Castle?
Yeah, I think he's an interesting tournament play on FanDuel. We didn't talk about it much just because guard is so stacked tonight, but I think he's okay.
Yeah. Any interest? Deuce Trey, the 2-3 says, any interest in a Randall revenge game?
If Edwards is out, yes, but not because Edwards is playing.
Nailed it.
TJ Olu says, thoughts on Grimes, Simons? Those are two different people.
I have a touch of Grimes. I just don't really think you need to get to either of those guys today.
Yeah. All right. Double revenge narrative. Olu, is this his second revenge narrative? No. All right. Double revenge game, TJ, with Randall and Cat, or do I just do one? Or is one in separate lineups more optimal? So basically, do you roll Randall and Cat together, or do you just split them up?
I'm not a huge fan of either plays, so I would roll them together.
Okay. Hey, shout out to our guy Hammer.
One dead lineup instead of two.
Yeah. Shout out to Hammer, by the way, who says, I won $75K a few weeks ago with your guys' advice in NFL. And TJ, I think he was talking about your show. I think he said that around the time we were talking about the show. So.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I remember when Hammer won that. That was nice. That was a nice win.
Yep. Drummond or Bona, Noto? I don't think we mentioned either dude. Question from Ryan. Drummond or Bona?
Bono's starting, so I would lean him, but I like the other. I like Nurkic, Gafford, Stewart, those guys better. Queen.
Okay. DK Cash, Max Christie, or Herb Jones? I feel like that's something you were kind of working out. Noto, you're not on that Herb train?
Not on the Herb train, and talked about Max Christie a lot. I think he's the guy that gave you 30 tonight.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's anything more. We're less than 5 minutes until lock. Beef stew starting. That may
that's
change
what we were
things.
projecting. So that's
okay.
as expected. But is he viable in a DK single entry? Yeah, like he'll be chalky in a DK single entry, but he is viable for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, are you trying to get yourself some beef stew now?
I don't know who that is.
Isaiah Stewart.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I liked him before. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He always was starting.
Yeah, I gotcha. Jumping into the Discord real quick to answer a few of the questions that I may have missed there. How about Isaiah Thomas, Noto, in a FanDuel GPP?
No.
Okay.
What year is this?
Blink says, according to some defense versus archetype, I've seen power forward has destroyed Cleveland so far this year. Does that mean I can use Trendon Watford, TJ, at 4,100, or look in a completely different direction? Large field DK tournament.
I would rather go with Queen over Watford, but I do have a tiny touch of him in my lineups. I like Sadiq Bey better, and I like Derek Queen better, though.
Okay. Let's see. TJ, DK single entry, can we stack the Capitals second line and pay up for 3 top-tier defensemen? We're suddenly doing hockey. I don't know if you did a deep dive into
you can
hockey.
basically do anything in hockey, but I'm going with the opposite approach today. I'm stacking up the Maple Leaf expensive guys, and I'm going with the punted defense today.
Okay. Alex says, hey, fellas, I missed a lot of the cash talk on DK. Could you touch on your favorite spends? Noto, you mind your favorite spend ups or pricier guys in DK Cash?
Yeah, I'm going more balanced route with Jaylen Brown, Siakam, and Murphy. But if you want to go Jokic and just go value, you can do that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the Jokic route personally. I did manage to get Jaylen Brown in there with him, but Siakam was the guy that I had to forego.
Yeah. All right. Noto, another one for you. On FanDuel, Boney says, your favorite shorthanded team to load up on, New Orleans, Golden State, or Sacramento?
I'll go New Orleans on DraftKings and Golden State on FanDuel.
Okay. Any interest in Taylor Hendricks starting for Detroit?
No. He's starting for Utah, not Detroit, but still no.
Okay. All right. That's a good note. I don't know who that is. I'm a little embarrassed to say. I'm not familiar.
He got hurt missed most of last season.
Oh, okay.
He's he's really athletic, just hasn't done a whole lot yet.
Yeah. All right. Is Isaiah Stewart viable in DK single entry? Absolutely. TJ, is Clarkson viable as a punt play on DK?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
Not because he's a good play, but just because the position's really bad.
Yeah. Is Landell viable tonight?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's just such a big slate,
Yeah.
So many good plays.
Kevin says DK Cash, Noto, Christie and MPJ or Walker and Jabari?
Well, read that one more time.
Christie and MPJ or Walker and Jabari? He doesn't mean Jabari Smith, does he?
I'll go with the first one, but MPJ, I don't know. I don't get the Nets right. So,
okay. Gafford or Nurkic, TJ, FanDuel GPP?
Nurkic.
Scrolling down a little bit. Less than a minute until lock. Things going pretty good here. Ruthless Villain.
You playing any Keontae, TJ?
George?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. I think I have like 15%. 20% maybe. Sorry, I just switched my tab to NHL to look at something quick, but I have... Oh, and I refreshed and now my lineups are gone. But about 20% Keontae George.
Nice.
J Sam says, won't we get the rest of the Golden State news a little bit earlier since they played last night?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. If anything, might be the other way.
Yeah. Let's see.
If we would have gone it earlier, it would have already happened.
Yeah. Amin Thompson or Denny Abdia? Noto?
I have Thompson in my main DraftKings lineup right now, so I'll go with that.
Okay. Alex says, I thought Taylor Hendricks was the RG analyst with the mustache. That's good. That's good.
That was good.
Who do you think the first scorers will be? We have to choose. What's the first game, or just any game on the first slate that's happening right now?
Nurkic. The first bucket getter will be Cade Cunningham.
Nurkic. Oh, we're going against each other? Okay, I'll go.
There you have it. All right.
I'll go Siakam in the other game.
Nice.
Very good. Hey, we're going to clear on out of here. We hit the lock. It is dinner time and it is basketball time. So we're going to make those two things happen. For Noto, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind. Oh, look. It's a good look. Is that a second kid or is that still your first kid?
Number 2.
You count 1.5.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, last time I saw you had a kid like that was that old.
Damn. Nope, this is number 2.
Yeah. Y'all make
How old is she?
6 months and a week.
Okay, mine just turned 5 months, so we'll have to meet up one day.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, with that is a good way to end the show. For our wonderful producer, Steve, and the rest of the crew, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.